Miss Blake, I've been expecting you.
Sienna had been inside 11 companies in 6 years. She had worn 11 different names, 11 different faces, 11 different versions of a life that wasn't hers. She had walked away from all of them with evidence that put people in cells. She was the best at what she did, and she knew it, and she never let herself forget the one rule that kept her alive: never let it become real. The briefing on Rafael Cross lasted 3 hours. She sat in a gray room in a gray building with 3 agents and a wall of documentation, and she absorbed all of it with the efficiency she had spent 12 years developing. Rafael Emmanuel Cross, 33 years old, born New York, founded Cross Empire at 24 with seed funding from his father, Eduardo Cross. Current net worth, $4.2 billion. Operations spanning tech, real estate, shipping, and private equity. And woven through all of it, according to 3 years of FBI financial analysis, a network of shell companies that had moved an estimated $200 million through accounts that should not exist. The case was nearly airtight. Nearly. The missing piece was internal documentation, someone inside Cross Empire who knew where the accounts were and could produce the access trail. That was Sienna's job. Get in, find the ledger. Get out. 4 weeks maximum. Clean and simple. She drove to Cross Empire the next morning with a USB in her jacket lining, a recorder in her watch, and a cover story she had practiced until it felt like memory. She was Mia Torres, senior financial analyst, 12 years of experience, impeccable references. She had done this before. She had done harder. She parked 3 blocks away and walked, because she always walked the last few blocks of an approach so she could see the building before the building saw her. Cross Empire's tower rose 70 floors above the Manhattan skyline, black glass and steel, Rafael's name in brushed gold letters above the entrance. The lobby was the kind of space designed to make you feel small. She walked through it and felt nothing except the particular sharpness that came before a job started. The focus that cleared everything else away. She was ready. She kept telling herself that. Security at Cross Empire did not smile. They scanned her visitor ID, checked the appointment system, issued her a badge, and told her someone would be down to collect her. She sat in a waiting area with a view of all of Manhattan and crossed her legs and looked like a woman waiting for a job interview. She was good at this. The settling in. The becoming someone else so completely that the real person underneath could relax and watch from the inside. She had been waiting 11 minutes when the assistant appeared. Not from the direction of HR, which was on the 34th floor according to her research. From the express elevator. The top elevator. The assistant was a precise woman in her 30s named Alina who said, without preamble, that Mr. Cross would see her now, and led her past human resources without stopping, past legal, past the executive suite, and all the way to the top. Floor 70, the highest floor in the building. The assistant stopped outside a set of heavy glass doors with no signage and said the exact words that Sienna had not prepared for. Mr. Cross is ready for you. She had expected HR. She had expected a panel interview, a salary negotiation, a standard onboarding conversation with someone whose job was to evaluate her cover story. She had not expected to be taken directly to the man himself. She stood outside those glass doors and had exactly 3 seconds to recalibrate before Alina opened them and she walked through. Rafael Cross was standing at the window when she entered. Back to the room, hands in his pockets, looking at the city below with the expression of a man who owned it, which technically he did. He let her take 3 full steps into the room before he turned around. Later, she would understand that the 3 steps were deliberate. He was giving her time to see him before he saw her, which meant he was already watching her without her knowing. Up close, the photographs had not done him justice. Not because they were bad photographs, because photographs could not capture the quality of his attention, the way he looked at her when he finally turned and met her eyes, as though every other thing in the room had stopped being relevant. He was wearing a dark suit with no tie, shirt open at the collar, and he moved from the window to his desk with the unhurried certainty of a man who had never been in a hurry in his life, because the world waited for him and he knew it. He asked her 3 questions, not the questions on the interview brief, not the questions about her work history or her salary expectations or her 5-year plan. He leaned forward on his desk and asked her what the fastest way to hide $40 million in a publicly traded company was without triggering an external audit. She answered because it was a legitimate technical question, and she had the answer, and hesitating would have been worse than responding. Second question, he sat back. If you found evidence of financial crime inside a company, he said, what would you do? She paused a half second. She said, report it to the relevant authorities. He watched her say it. His expression did not change, but something behind his eyes moved, the specific movement of someone filing a piece of information they already expected. Third question. He leaned forward again, close enough that she could see the darkness of his eyes, not quite black, something deeper. Miss Torres, he said, why do you actually want to work here? She delivered her cover story. It sounded exactly like what it was. He hired her on the spot. Her assigned desk was on the 34th floor in the financial analysis department. Open plan, views of Midtown, the quiet professional hum of people who earned a great deal of money doing work that most people could not explain. She sat down, opened her laptop, entered her access credentials, and stopped moving. Her access level was wrong. Not insufficient, she had expected to fight for every piece of access over several weeks of patient work. The access was excessive. She had clearance to financial systems that a senior analyst had no legitimate reason to see. Secondary ledgers, offshore account structures, internal audit trails. The kind of access that took years to build within a company or that someone had deliberately configured before she arrived. Someone had set this up for her. Someone who knew exactly what she was really there to find. She sat very still for 30 seconds, hands flat on the desk, running the implications. Either Cross Empire's IT department had made a catastrophic administrative error, possible but implausible, or someone inside this building had known she was coming and had arranged her access accordingly. There was one person with the authority to do that unilaterally. She looked up. Rafael Cross's office was visible through the glass mezzanine above the floor. He was standing at the mezzanine rail, looking down at the financial department below. At her, when their eyes met across the distance, he held her gaze for exactly 3 seconds. Then he looked away, back to the documents on the rail beside him, completely calm, like he had simply been checking on his team. She left at 5:30 with everyone else, badge returned, bag on her shoulder, nothing visible. On the street outside, she walked 2 blocks north before she called Marcus Reed. He answered on the second ring. She kept her voice low and professional. She told him she was in, that she had been hired, that her access level was unprecedented for a first-day analyst, and that someone inside the building had configured it before her arrival. She told him she was compromised or close to it. She expected urgency. She expected Marcus to tell her she was coming out. He told her to stay in. He told her that access could be a mistake and to not read into it until she had confirmation. He told her to go back tomorrow and do her job. She stood on a midtown Manhattan sidewalk in the gray afternoon light and looked back at the Cross Empire building, 70 floors of black glass rising into the sky, and felt something she had not felt on an assignment in 6 years. Not fear, something else. Something closer to the feeling you get when you step into a room and the door closes behind you and you understand, a second too late, that someone else chose this room. She was halfway to the subway when her phone buzzed. A text from an unknown number. 4 words. She stopped walking, read it 3 times, then she looked up at the building. Floor 70. The corner office light was still on, his silhouette at the window looking down. The text said, "Sleep well, Miss Blake." Not Torres, Blake, her real name.
I've been waiting for you for a long time, Miss Blake.